Well, welcome everyone. Welcome here on the GEC Country on Stage session. It's a pleasure to have you here all around, and it's a pleasure to have you here today on the GEC. And I think your presence here today shows how internationally important the GEC is for a lot of actors, and that sort of also shows the importance for France and the support that has been done to promote more growth and innovation within the composite industry. And that's also the idea that we want to promote here tonight on this Country on Stage session. So the point of this session here is to show how France can be an attractive destination for business development and innovation for composite companies who are working here and willing to work here in France with French companies. And that's also the idea that we'll carry through all the event. So I will be your moderator here for today. I'm Antoine Thévenin. I'm working with Business France, which is the French Trade Commission, pretty much, to use an English term. And we work here with different timetables. But first of all, we can welcome on stage Marie-Cécile Tardieu, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Business France, and who will focus on the FDI in France and our work here tonight and introduce the different actors in this session. Have a good day.
Good morning. I'm Marie-Cécile Tardieu, CEO of Business France, and I'm really pleased to open this Country Stage France. You might be one of the companies that Business France has invited to participate in this GEC Composites World 2024. The Country on Stage France is a session that aims to showcase the vitality of France's composite industry through two panels. One panel will feature experts from the French Prime Minister's Office, the General Secretariat for Investment, and the French National Center for Scientific Research, CNRS. They will discuss the France 2030 plan, highlighting advanced policies such as the projects for the new generation of recyclable composite components, as well as the government support for research, innovation, and talent development. Another panel will explore regional innovation ecosystem within the composite industry, such as the Lorient Composite Valley Cluster in Britanny. We will also examine the creation of synergies between various sectors, such as aerospace and maritime industry. These exchanges will be enriched by success stories from businesses. Engineering offices and development agencies will link to share their experiences and the challenges they've encountered. Why should Business France organize such an event? Business France is the national agency in charge of the internationalization of the French economy. We aim to promote SMEs, French SMEs, or medium or bigger enterprises to export their knowledge to all around the world. We also, and I'm in charge of that, look for investments, projects that could develop value, employment, new technologies in France. And the reason why we are here today is we strongly believe that this industry could be the one that can build new value supply chain in France in order to create the new technologies for tomorrow. So we hope that through this fair, we can organize meetings between investors, between French companies, between foreign companies, and between experts that could prepare the world for tomorrow. Business France is accompanying lots of projects, and we are really proud to say that France is for 4 years in a row #1 destination for foreign investment. We have just published our report for last year, and we have reported that more than 1,800 projects of foreign investment have created value and employment in France. So we strongly believe that in the sector like the composite industry, it presents lots of opportunity for growth and innovation. I won't be very long on the subject of composite because you are all experts and will be much more placed than me to discuss the subject. But what I'd like to say is that composite is both part of the past of France and the future. The past, because I strongly believe that the composite industry has numerous key strengths that contributed in the past to the competitiveness of our industry. The French government have encouraged research and development in many sectors, and especially in this one. And we have, for example, a mechanism that is called the tax credits, the French research tax credit, that has been considered as the most generous support schemes of R&D in the world, that helped us to attract and to develop new technologies in France. And when it comes to innovation, we also have strong collaboration between industry stakeholders, research institutions, academia, that helps to go to the advance of cutting-edge composite technologies. We also have highly skilled and educated workforce in engineering and materials science, especially that are really useful in this kind of technologies. I said the past because, of course, the aerospace sector, where we have strong leaders and world-scale leaders, have made a substantial impact on the composite industry. We have manufactured composite components for aircraft, and we have developed R&D to improve manufacturing processes, lower costs, and that enhanced the overall competitiveness on the French composite sector. You all know the giants like Dassault Aviation, Airbus, or Safran. Or another example, Arkema, of course. I said the past because we have built in the past some clusters like the one that will be presented later on in Britanny. And those clusters, in a long-term development, they have gathered all the different expertise and know-how in order to be able to answer the challenges of the future. So that's the past. That's what we have been building. But composite sector in France is also the future. The reason we invited CNRS and SGPI to discuss in this panel is because we have a plan with the France 2030 investment plan that is building the new technology of the future. This plan that will be presented is 54 billion euros in order to decarbonate the French economy and to find the new technologies that will build the new economy. We are strongly convinced that we were, as I said in the past, really good in research and development, but we need to also go from lab to fab. We need to improve the capacity to develop industrial projects in France, and that's the aim of the Plan 2030. The representative of the SGPI will present how you can answer to the different call for projects that are on the composite sector. And of course, what is really crucial when you want to build the future is to de-risk the investment. One of the main objectives of our investment plan is to be able to invest in some technologies of the future in order to de-risk and to be sure that the first project will be built in France. And as I said earlier, our objective is to see how we can fill the different pieces of the supply chain in order to be sure that we have this strategic autonomy that is crucial for Europe and for France in the future. That was what I wanted to present to you. Business France is really happy to be partner of this JEC 2024. We have lots of foreign companies that have been invited to meet with the French companies that are here today. My team, and Amin is here present, will be really happy to connect with you in order to be sure that we don't miss any opportunity to do business. We don't miss any opportunity to explain how France is willing to attract the new technologies and how we are sure that in this field that is made of research and development and innovation, we can gather all the best technologies in France. Thank you very much for attending this conference stage, and I wish you a very nice fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marie-Cécile. So to sum up a little bit on what has been said, I mean, we know that we want more innovation on the composite industry, but we cannot have innovation if we don't have a clear also government support and a clear government strategy as well, and also more research and development. But for that, we also need, more strategy, more support to know where we're going. And this is sort of this national and government side that we're going to see in the next roundtable. So here on stage, we welcome the General Secretariat for Investment for SGPI with Mathieu Brandibat, and also the National Center for Research, Scientific Research, the CNRS, on stage to discuss both the France 2030 plan and also the PEPR. Mathieu and Jean-François, please. Well, Mathieu, thank you very much for being here tonight. I think it's great that we have the opportunity to introduce also to everyone on stage the different plans and investment plans that is put forward also for composite industries and more generally from the entire industry, and what France is specifically doing, to promote more innovation and also more research in France, and what we're doing also to attract more foreign investors here. So maybe I will let you give a short presentation of what you do with the SGPI, of what is France to 2030, what is to be done also, and what is promoting, and how it can also impact positively the different investors present.
Thank you, Antoine. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present you this national program. My name is Mathieu Brandibat. I'm working at the SGPI. The objective of my presentation is to clarify this national plan, to explain what could it bring you, and to explain what kind of project we're looking for. France 2030 is a national program. It's been announced in October 2021 by the National President of the Republic. The General Secretariat for Investment is in charge of this program. It's a large-scale program with 54 billions. We have already started to invest massively in different sectors of the economy. And the motto, I would say, of the program is to producing better, living better, and better understanding the world we live in. I would like to describe a bit more what kind of project and what kind of impacts we're looking for. The program is divided in 10 objectives and 6 pillars. Personally, I'm in charge of one of the pillars, which is raw materials. How can we provide and increase the sovereignty and the sustainability of materials that are used in a wide diversity of sectors? For example, we are looking for a project either in a very small quantic field, for example, up to the deep sea beds or space. And from all these kind of projects, you can have aeronautic, you have small nuclear plants. We have also decarbonization of the industries. Many fields which are today impacted by the industry of composites. We are also looking to develop a wide field of training and courses, because we know to tackle all these challenges, we have to promote and to upgrade the formations. We have to bring motivation to a new generation of engineers, to technicians that will be in charge of developing the future of these projects. I would like to make a small balance sheet of what happened the last 2 years to give you a better insight of the project that have been beneficiaries. We can provide financial support to this project, but not only. I will come back later to this point. France 2030, we have already spent almost 30 billions in France in project. In what kind of companies are we investing for? We're looking for French companies, This is a European rule. We cannot invest in foreign companies. But if you are a foreign company and looking to open a subsidiary in France, then you're eligible to the program. We have supported a bit more than 3,000 projects, and you can look at the numbers of the beneficiaries. We're a bit more than 4,000. 60% of all funds have been allocated to entrepreneurs based outside of Paris region. So this is really a national program, and all the beneficiaries are scattered all around the territory. We're also looking to promote all the intellectual property. This is important because it's a key pillar to develop industries. We are looking to promote new jobs, and a bit more than 55,000 jobs are being created, are preserved. We are counting the direct jobs, but there are maybe an order more of jobs that will be indirectly created. To give you a bit more insight of the fields we have invested in, you can see that on the electric cars, we already have secured the creation of a bit more than 1 million of electric cars. For the decarbonized industry, we also have securing a bit more than 2 gigawatts a year of production of electrolysis. For the biomedicines, we also have secured the fabrication and plants in France for producing major large-scale production. And in space, we are looking for relaunchable micro-launchers. What are the indicators? What kind of project are we looking for? First, in the ADN of the national program, we're looking for innovations. What is innovation? You can find in every definition in every book. Every time there is a bottleneck, every time there is a subject or a difficulty, if a project or if your company can provide solutions, then you're doing innovations. This is how we define it. Provided the projects are innovative, we are also looking for economic development. How could you provide innovations and bring it to the market? This is how it will be really put in perspective. The national program is looking to decarbonize the industry. At least 50% of the subsidies should go to decarbonization programs. We are looking for sovereignty. How can you bring in France more reliability, more sovereignty, and more industrial perspective for France? We're also looking to develop the human resource and training courses program, as I said, with a dedicated program. How can the society also accept all these innovations? This is a major aspect because we know that if we are too disruptive, it could take time for the industry to promote this, but how can the society respond to this innovation, to these innovations? And then other indicators are leadership and mixity. We're also looking for I would say, a balanced development of these programs. Today, speaking specifically about composites, if you have a project, provided you can bring it through a French company, a company established in France, if you're either looking for very low level of maturity, technology maturity level, what you call the TRL, then we have dedicated program, research program, and my colleague Jean-François will discuss a bit more about this. If you're more towards innovations and then even industrialization, we can also provide subsidies or either equity to your project. Speaking about extra financial support, we can also bring you, with the help of Business France, supports to export. Well, it's more for French companies looking to go abroad, but Business France can support you to go in France too. And to leverage all your industrial property, we have a partnership also with agencies like the National Agency for Intellectual Property, and also for every normative environment to provide a bit more insight to your company or to contribute to national committee, to international committee. Then we're also working with the AFNOR, the national agency in charge of these topics. I put in the presentation a few links to give you a bit more insight of the Call for Project. This is the main tool we are using with Call for Project. You can then find all the resources to see if the project you could develop in France could match with our requirements. We have operators, what we call operators, as the BPI France, as the National Environment Agency, as the National Research Agency, or the territorial bank.
Territorial bank, Banque des Territoires, exactly.
The Banque des Territoires in France. And they're all providing services and helps to get to bring your project as far as they can. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you, Mathieu. Maybe two first reactions. I mean, you explained a little bit the operation between the different public actors in terms of subsidy, and I liked also that you mentioned the importance of both sovereignty, the importance of export and import, and I think that's kind of the big idea behind why France is trying to be more open also with foreign companies, is that we realize that companies who will come here and produce here will bring back all the production and the production sovereignty that we have from it here in France. And also at a second level, a company that is producing in France is also a company that will become an exporter and export their goods from France to also abroad, which is also benefiting to the commercial balance. That's all the idea behind of why we also want to have more foreign actors who are taking part within the game and backing the production here in France, is because we know, and the numbers talk by themselves, that also 30% of exporters in France are actually foreign actors. I mean, companies with foreign investment behind. So that's maybe first reaction I want to have, and then second, maybe if you could quickly come back on all the different actors and how they organize in terms of subsidy, because you mentioned a lot. There's the SGPI, obviously, for the French 2030 plan. But there's also the BPI, so the French Public Investment Bank, Banque des Territoires, how they're organized, who is dealing with what, maybe, so the audience has a bit of a more clear view of how it's organized within all those different French actors. We can go this in 5 minutes, maybe.
Well, I could make it 5 minutes or 1 hour, because it's still a complex topics. To make it simple, we are a global team, I would say. The French state has launched this program, as the SGPI is in charge of coordination of this program, but we cannot do it alone. We are working with ministries, and especially in the SGPI, we're looking with the environment, the industry, the agriculture, and all the involved ministries to define strategies or roadmaps. Then, to implement these roadmaps, we have to build call for project. And this is where all the actors you've mentioned, what we call operators, they are in charge of developing, promoting the call for project. It means that when you have a project, you can either contact us, or then we might redirect you to these operators, so you can have a bit more details and helps on how to find all the requirements for your project, and then deliver your project to these agencies. It takes maybe 3 to 4 months to be assessed. And from the time you have submitted your file, then you can have an answer from the state if your project can be financed or not, and to which conditions.
Okay, perfect. And obviously, through all this process, Business France is also trying to follow and accompany the business with all the process. So now that we mentioned the innovation, obviously you cannot really have innovation if you don't have a serious research and development. And that's what Jean-François will be showing us today, with a specific focus on the priority research programs and equipment.
Thank you. Good morning. And I will try to explain in few minutes what is this program, which was launched under the France 2030, about recycling, recyclability, and the reuse of materials. These key issues underlying this program are the fact that the France 2030 want to, as Mathieu said before, to launch emerging French model in the field of recycling, including, of course, recycling of composites materials, and with all of the steps in the recycling process. So from the collecting to the recycling of the fibers, for example, in the case of composite materials, and the reuse of those fibers or those polymers in new materials having a high value. So that's really a question of circularity of materials, again, including composite materials. And the objective of this program is, again, under the France 2030, is to really to push the industry to recycle more in different kind of materials. As you can see, it's concerned also strategic metals, plastics, textile, paper, and cardboards, and also composite materials. And the objective of this founding is also to put together all the actors of R&D in France for working on recycling and recyclability of materials. I will not. You are in the business of composite materials, and you can see that there are existing waste of composite materials, but there are, in the future, we will have even more composite material to recycle, especially in the wind energy, for example. If you look to the the number of windmills which will be launched in the future, not only in Europe but also in Asia, it will generate a lot of composite material waste. And the question is really to have more circular materials in the field of composite material as in the other materials. So this program, R&D program, has low TRL, so from 1 to 3, concern the academic research, so research done in universities, in schools, but also in R&D centers of several organisms. And this program is this R&D program is established for 6 years and found for 40 million euro at the moment. And it's a part of.
Yeah, just so to be more clear, can you also introduce the different actors on the slide to make sure that everyone?
And you can see that that's the total thing. And you can see that composite materials is one of the part of this program. So specifically for this program is the ambition of this program is, of course, to generate knowledge and basic research, and we'll launch research on really key issues of recycling, including, again, recycling of composite materials and also recyclability. So I mean designing new materials, again, including composite materials, in order to have more circular economy. And that's something which is really the main ambition of this project, of this program. So we join all the science, which is the specific character of this program, is to bring together and put together all the sciences. Of course, the science of matter, chemistry, physics, engineering, and etc., on these different types of materials, including, for example, hydrometallurgy or systems to separate dismantled materials. And that's the case for composite materials. So, but these technologies, which were under development in our program, could be used for different types of materials. There is no very big difference in between composite materials and textile, for example. It's something very, very close, and of course with plastics. But the main feature is that we join also transverse sciences. Sciences which can be done on the different types of materials. For example, all the problem of sorting tools, of digital tools which can be used for this purpose, but also toxicological issues. And even more original, that we put also scientists coming from the human sciences, the social and human sciences. I mean, things on life cycle analysis, of course, and life cycle engineering, but also economics. Also, lawyers are involved in that project, and also even philosophers and sociologists. So that's really to share and develop cross-disciplinary knowledge and cross-functional methodologies. So actually, we joined about 70 research labs all join on this project, on this program. And we have the ambition to be seen and to have a visibility at the European scale. So trying now also to give inputs to the European Commission about what we can do, and also joining with other networks all around Europe. And one thing which is important for you is that we need also the companies, the industry, to launch new projects and to identify what are the key issues in recycling, including, again, composites materials, in order to put efforts on those key issues, which are quite difficult to analyze at the moment. So if you have any inputs or any idea, or if you want to follow the program, please, you have the email address. Oops. So actually, we launch 10 main programs, one on each of the type of materials. So one on composites material, I will show you briefly. And we'll launch also transverse project, one on batteries, one on new technologies of energy, in which composites material can take a place, for example, in windmills or in storage, in tanks for storage, the hydrogen, for example, and also photovoltaics. We also have composites materials in one of the projects dedicated to the waste from electronics and electrical industries, and one on house waste, which didn't include the glass and the bio-waste, of course. And one on more specifically on how to organize recycling and how to organize a society for having more circular economy. So I will not detail, but on composites materials, that we try to have a look of each step. So recycling of composites, that's the problem of collecting composites, how to organize a circuit for collection of composites materials. Then how to dismantle those composites material, putting the matrix on one side and the fiber on the other side, how to recycle the matrix, the polymer matrix, how to recycle and to retrieve fibers with good properties, in order to reuse all of those waste materials, new recycled raw materials, in order to design now new composite and to reuse them. But also we have worked on technologies and development of new composites materials, which include in their function from the beginning their recyclability, the ability to be recycled. So we have this project, which is now running, with about 10 to 12 partners, so working on that point. But if you have, if you have ideas about new key issues which can be served in the field of composites materials, we are open in order to integrate in that basic research, which is done now within the PEPR program, recycling, recyclability, and reuse of materials. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jean-François. So maybe to sum up, we want more innovation, and we're open for partnership in the innovation to understand better what is still to be done. And we also want to move to more recyclability, to a more circular economy, and the advantage of the composite industry that it falls also in links with a variety of different sectors, automotive, shipbuilding, maritime industry, aerospace industry, and that's how technically the composite industry can be involved and have an impact in all those different sectors. Am I right? Okay, perfect. And also, I think considering research and innovation, one of the main reason I think that actors decide to do their R&D in France is also because France has a very appealing research tax credit as well, and also because we have plenty of other incentives such as the CIFRE, the credit and the training through research agreement in English. And maybe we could also try to give a little bit more details on those two different incentives and how they're organized and how they also benefit to research and development, if you're okay with that.
So when research is done in a lab, and France is the French labs are really strongly involved with the industries, because most of their foundings are coming not from my institution, but from the industry. Usually, in a lab, as my lab, for example, 80% of the foundings are coming from the industry. And why? Because it's quite easy to work. We have all the possibility to launch research with the industry, as the industry have return tax on research done, basic research done with universities and schools. And we have also this CIFRE program, CIFRE in French, but that's a grant which is given by that's a salary of the, corresponding to the salary of the PhD, and working for 3 years with a company. And that's something which is quite easy to obtain, as you are established in France, of course.
Obviously, so the CIF is helping the companies to hire more highly skilled PhD researchers, right? And the research tax credit, so Crédit d'impôt recherche, le CIR in French, is I think giving 30% of tax credits up to 100 million of research expenses, if I'm right. Okay, just to give a little bit of the amount of this help, I think, for companies, and how it's also benefiting to attract more innovation based in France, and I mean I think it's also part of the reason why France is also well known as a research destination, because we have all this program behind, and also because we're a nation of engineers, as I think you already mentioned. So moving, I think, on the manpower that we have and the research that we have, it brings also to the topic of employment, which is critical for a lot of foreign companies, and it's sometimes not always easy. And I think companies who are establishing in France need to make sure that they will be able to recruit the right skilled workers. We've seen that there's some help for researcher. What about the help for more, I guess, operation level employees? What is done maybe within the France 2030? I remember, Mathieu, that you mentioned something. Can you come back a little bit on the support for employment within France 2030?
Of course, we have a call for project called, in French, it's Compétences et métiers d'avenir. In English, it's Competencies and Jobs for the Future. This call for project is looking to support either labs, schools, or even industries that are identifying challenges to recruit enough skilled workers, from either technicians to a PhD. And this call for project has been launched already for 2 years now. It's still ongoing until the end of 2004. 2024, until the end of this year.
The end of this
and
year, yeah.
If you have a project, if you identify that to run a factory, you will have to recruit maybe dozens to hundreds, or even sometimes more, new workers. This is a challenge, because sometimes the factories are located in regions when you cannot meet the competencies you're looking for. How can you attract this? And then some companies have ideas to promote some school. We have the school of the nuclear. We have the school of the electrical vehicle batteries. So they have created clusters of competencies and skills where new people can qualify for these new jobs. It's either good for the workers, they can find the job, and for the companies, they can secure the workers they would like to work with. So if you have this kind of project, then you can submit or contact us first, and your project will be assessed either on how many people are you looking for to recruit? Is it a national ambition? And is the training course meeting the requirements that we have? We are looking for excellency, but we are here to help you to promote this project.
Thank you very much. So to sum up, basically, we are supporting companies with both subsidies to make sure that they relocate and make the production here in France. We're also helping with subsidies on their research and development. And at the employment level, we're also supporting them not only to find the right employees for their projects, but also making sure that those employees have the knowledge and the capacity to deal with the innovation that we also want to put forward, and to make sure that they have also the enough money to recruit all those high-level PhD knowledge and other employees. So I think it's interesting because we see now what is done at the national level, and also what is the strategy and the orientation that we want to put forward for especially composite companies who are planning to develop in France. I think it's also interesting at a second level that we deal with the more local level to check what is done locally in France and give some example of companies who are working within the composite sectors, what they're done, what are their innovation, what is basically the state of this environment in France. And that's where we're going for the second timetable, where we'll come and give light to a specific region in France, the Britanny region. If you're not familiar with the French geography, you can look on the map. There's the little peninsula in the west of France, a very nice region to visit and to discover as well for holidays, but not only an idyllic beach destination, but also a place where you have a lot of innovation, especially on the composite sector, and that's what we'll see in this second roundtable. Thank you very much again, Mathieu Brandibat from the SGPI, the General Secretariat for Innovation. Thank you very much, Jean-François Gérard, for the National Center for Scientific Research. Thank you for coming in. And don't forget also that after the roundtables, we have a little meeting session as well, where you will be able to exchange with the public. Thank you very much. So for this second roundtable, we'll welcome, as I said, people from the Bretagne region. So I will be calling on stage Arnaud Cacvel, Marketing Manager of Innovation for Bretagne Development Innovation. Erwan Grossman, from Design Office Manager from Kairos. Arnaud Rantenier, Director of Business Support and Innovation from Au-delà, the Lorient Composite Valley. And Luc Talbourdet from Avel, which is part of the consortium with Chantier de l'Atlantique, creating a carbon 3D print. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. It's a pleasure to welcome such a big delegation from Bretagne. And it's great also to not only talk about the national and the Parisian environment and show also a bit of this decentralization that we're putting forward in France, and show as well that there is talent and there is innovation also within the French territory and not just in Paris. So I think just like the last presentation, we'll give some time for everyone to introduce a little bit the background, and introduce a little bit the entity that they're representing, their projects, and the environment they're working in, and give a little bit of presentation. I think we'll start maybe with Arnaud Cacvel, the first Arnaud, for introducing a little bit the environment within Bretagne. So you are representing Bretagne Development Innovation. That is a regional development agency in charge of fostering innovation within the territory. So Arnaud, can you please introduce us in about 10 minutes with the regional ecosystem and the attractiveness for composite sectors?
Oh, okay, thank you. So, hi everyone, I'm Arnaud, I'm working for Britanny region. As Antoine said, I represent the Britanny region, and I'm trying to talk about advantages and strengths on material composite on this region. And I'm happy to welcome Arnaud Rantenier from Lorient Technopole, and Luc Talbourdet of Avel Robotic Company, and Erwan for Kairos, is Design Office Manager. and we try to explain why my baseline is the mastering of composite material, and I try to explain why. So some few words about Britanny region. So it's an attractive region, not only for tourism, but we are placed in Western France. As we are in Western France, we are well connected to a European hub. For instance, to Paris by train, it's 1 hour and a half, and also by plane to main European capital. Some key figures, 3.5 inhabitants, and as I said, we are an attractive region. We attract 23,000 people each year, and we maintain an unemployment rate really low, usually 2 points less than the rest of France. And what you have noticed is the economy is based on 3 steps. The maritime economy, the food industry, and agriculture. We give food for the rest of the France. We're the first region for this. And also technology and digital industry, and mainly, for instance, we have a huge cluster on cybersecurity. So it's the 3 main economy, and now I'm going to talk about materials sectors. So we said it's a complete and diverse ecosystem. As you note, there's 147 structures for more than 100 companies. Many of us are SMEs, 80%. And in materials, SME is an advantage because they have a high level of innovation, support by a research team and technology platform, and also 2 competitive clusters, and 10 training institutes as university or high school. Next step. If we focused on materials, there's a wide variety of material used. If we saw reinforced material, 69% of companies work with carbon, aramid, or Kevlar for reinforced materials, and matrix is mainly epoxy. And for activity, there is a great concentration on molding and manufacturing activities. The markets now, they address is mainly boating and competitive sailing. As you see on the graphs, it's boating, naval, renewable energies, and fishing. It's the main markets of composite company. And this specialty do that the manufacturer, the positioning is a large and technical composite park. It's really different than the other region because, in fact, we made this sort of boats, and Luc of Havel will talk about foil. If you came by the door number 5 near Torquay, you have seen one of these foil across the Atlantic, and we have been flying boats for a long time. And today, there's it's the start of huge innovation because as you have to know, skipper and sailors ask high performance for their boats, and ask to companies to high performance and very light parts carbon. And these boats are testing in incredible conditions and extreme conditions, because they are doing a run of the world in a highly storm, in marine environment, and with high speed. And all the parts are testing in this extreme condition. So here we have our first boat, or this one. And as we are able to do that, some companies can build this sort of carbon parts. Here we are in Paris in the Orthodox Church. It's in carbon. Or the cockpit of this electric plane. It's also a Britain company who made that. And Luc talked about this. We contribute to decarbonize maritime transport to make wind for ship. And here we have a giant mast made by Britain's company and for wind ship propulsion. And also sort of innovation, and now it's Erwan who will talk about this. It's the first boat made with eco materials. But it's also a subject of innovation in Britanny to work on eco materials and eco design of the material composite. So this is the first and short presentation of the Britanny.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Arnaud, for this short presentation of the general environment of Britanny as a region. Now we'll try to go a little bit even more local to take the example of the Lorient Technopole with Arnaud. So for a quick introduction, so the Lorient Composite Valley is a regional cluster for the composite industry located in Britanny, in the south of Britanny. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about the area and about the advantages of this area for local companies. And Arnaud, I'll just let you in a minute detail your activities and how the main composite actors are organized within the region and how you provide with this industry.
Yes, thank you. So I work in the Economic Development Agency of Lorient Territory, which is also a science park. And what we would like to talk about this morning is our project, so Lorient Composite Valley. So first of all, it's a brand. In fact, in brand because we want to promote our expertises and industrial skills that are present in our territory. We believe that it's a remarkable place for production, for composite pieces production. We have R&D capabilities with our university, which with two technical centers specialized in composites, one on R&D projects and another one specialized to work with industrial and driven by, like Arnaud explained, ocean racing. Several SMEs have been created and developed since these last 15 years about the production of composite pieces. So they are in capacity to product technical pieces like hulls, masts, and more recently foils in composites to respond to technical needs, especially for the ocean sailing, but also for industrial application. And first of all, Lorient Composite Valley is a way to promote this ecosystem and to present our remarkable place in these technologies. So we try to position our territory in the world of composite with kind of brand. Secondly, it's a project too. As an economic development agency, we try to identify needs and projects of our industrials in order to help them to progress and to go to new markets. And in fact, with the competencies in our territory, we have identified that there are opportunities, especially in wind propulsion capacities, and also in defense and drones, to address new markets, new international and bigger markets for our companies. And we have started a collectively work to identify what kind of investments and new production capacities are needed in our territory to address these new markets. And that's the work we are actually doing in a collective project. So we are working with several SMEs of our territory to identify these kind of investments, in particular new industrial capacities that are really recent, and to ideally invest collectively in this kind of new production capacities. Because to address these new markets, we have identified that we must progress in standardized production, task automation, and also training in operator and technician. So these investments seem important to be installed in our territory and to address these new markets.
And on that specific topic, what is mainly your strategy? Is it more also outward to try to promote your companies also outside of Britanny internationally, or also more inward, also to attract more companies to come within the valley from other regions of France or other nations?
First of all, it's to help our companies, so already installed in our territory, to address these new markets in order to progress and to make them bigger, and to so that's our first objective. And the second one, in fact, it's to be able to be more attractive for foreign companies, in order to our territory to be a good place for them to develop their projects.
Okay, so both sides. Okay, so now that we've discussed also the environment, I think it's interesting. What everyone also is interested to is to get to talk about concrete examples of those innovative companies that we can find in Britanny that are working with the composite industry. Obviously, with the composite industry, with a link with the maritime industry, because we're in Britanny and the sea is everywhere, and there was also a need to answer some innovation also for the boating industry we mentioned, from the shipmaking industry, etc. So now we will be moving to those examples. Maybe you can share. Yes, maybe now we'll first give the voice to Erwan, representing Kairos, that is a Breton company also based in the south of Bretagne, in Concarneau, a very nice town, with an extensive experience as well with the use of not only composite materials but also biomaterials, if I'm right, biorenewable composite materials, specifically dedicated on the maritime industry. Maybe Erwan, you can give us a little bit presentation of what you do, of your technology, of what you also what's your innovation, and what challenges can your innovation also answer for the industry?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Hello everyone, so I'm Erwan Grossman. I'm in charge of the design office in Kairos since 2013. Originally, the Kairos company is coming from offshore racing, sailing boats. One guy called Roland Jourdain, maybe some of you are knowing him, created this company in 2007. Roland is an offshore sailor. He raced Vendée Globe, Route du Rhum, single-handed offshore racing for many years, since he was very young. And he realized about 2009, 2010, that the environmental impact of boat building is not neglectable, needs to be taken into account. And we start looking at natural fibers, bio-based or partly bio-based resin, and also bio-based core material to manufacture offshore sailing boats. Quite quickly, we realized that we will not be able to make materials that are as strong, as stiff, as what we are doing with carbon fiber. Most of you are knowing this. But for some application, we can replace very high-strength material by natural fibers that are competitive as well for leisure crafts, for example. So for about 10 years, between 2013 until now, we developed different solutions to implement low environmental impact material in boat building and also in other applications. Today we are working for transportation, furniture, cosmetic industry, etc. And the boat that you are seeing in this picture just behind me is kind of an achievement that we put on the water a couple of years ago, the We Explore. And Roland used this boat to sail the last Route du Rhum. And this boat is a demonstrator which we use to show all the material that we can use outside for building the hull, the deck, and inside the boat for interior furniture. And also the sails. The sails you can see here, the main sail is using partly natural fibers. So basically we are in the middle of two worlds. The world of offshore racing. We still help different teams to race offshore races such like Vendée Globe, Route du Rhum, etc. And we developed a design office called Kairos Environment, the part of the company that I am in charge of. And the aim of this Kairos Environment is to have a close look at how can we help industry to lower the environmental impact of their material, of their process, and we help them all the way up to prototyping and all the way up to industrialization. You can see here some of the clients that we are working with. Some of them are in cosmetics, some of them in transportation, and some of them that probably you know in the boat building industry or as a raw material producers. So Kairos Environment has these two objectives, a consulting objective and a production objective. As consultants, we help for eco-design and life cycle analysis. We have an in-house solution to help you to choose the best way in terms of environmental impact, cost, and especially technical properties and efficiency of the materials and efficiency of the process as well. We do also work in the compounding industry for injection molding, extrusion with different kind of fillers. And we help for prototyping and production setup. On the other side, we also produce our own materials and we put on the market our own materials. We developed a material called Kerlin that we earned the JEC Award in 2022. And this material is produced in France. It's 100% bio-based material. Everything is made in Normandy, in the northern France, where the flax fiber is growing. And another kind of material that we are putting on the market is bioplastic compounds. So we have tools, of course, SolidWorks, CIMAPRO, etc. And we have internal tools that we developed to address and to answer as better as we can the questions of our customers. About a bit more than a year ago, we created an association between Merconcept. We strongly believe that in this world, we need to cooperate. We definitely need to work together to move faster and to move better. So Merconcept is also a company involved in offshore boating industry. They are in the same city as ours. They are in Concarneau, just across the harbor. We created this association between our two companies, Kairos and Merconcept, to better answer the needs and to lower the environmental impact of companies in the maritime sector. So we do LCA, we do eco-conception, and we mainly focus on boat building and everything that goes around maritime sector. So, yeah.
Very nice. You mentioned also obviously the impact on the shipbuilding industry. But do you see or do you foresee maybe in the future other application for your biorenewable materials in other industry other than shipbuilding? Is it something they're already working on? I think that you have plenty of other partners and companies that you're working with also that are not directly within the shipbuilding industry. How is that also applicable to the rest of sectors? Let's say, for example, I don't know, automotive sectors or aerospace sector or so on. Like, what do you foresee in terms of enlargement of the applications of the process?
Yeah, definitely. The solutions that we are working on are low weight, low environmental impact, and they can be used for transportation industry. They can also be used for furniture industry. We have different clients that are interested in our solution because it's a quick way to manufacture large amounts of composites in a short amount of time, and using materials that can be recyclable at the end of life. We are coming in this industry by the maritime industry, but today we open to all sorts of industry.
Okay, interesting. It's also cheaper than regular carbon, just by curiosity. Is the produce cheaper than regular carbon, the biorenewable produce that you make?
Oh, well, it is cheaper than carbon. It's more expensive than glass.
Okay, interesting. Well, now we're going to move to another shipbuilding example with Luc. So Luc, you're part of Aval company that is also part of a larger consortium linking the Chantiers de l'Atlantique, that are also a more renowned French shipbuilding company, and this consortium, Solid Sail, is also working on decarbonizing the maritime industry that is also heavily relying on costful materials and also on oil to run the ships. So how you decarbonize is by adding masts to large cruise ships and make them more reliable to, let's say, the old traditional way of working a ship through the wind and mast, something that we've been doing for centuries. And maybe Aval more in particular is working on carbon 3D prints, right? So maybe you can give a short presentation of Aval and your product and your innovation, then introduce a little bit more the Solid Sail consortium and also the challenge that you're trying to take on.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. First of all, so Aval, it's a company of 30 people, 4 million turnover, and we use the automated fiber placement machine to produce foil. Foil is the wing of a boat. As you can see at the entrance of Hall 5 on the Torre booth, there is a big foil of 6 meters wide. It's what you can see. I don't know how you can go back on this one. You see the foil here on the right boat. So this is the foil which is exposed at the Hall 5. It's a 6 meter long carbon part, and it's 300 kilo approximately, and it's full of carbon. And so it's not very sustainable because it's 300 kilogram. But compared to the usual way to build this foil, it was used to be manufactured manually. And thanks to Aval, my company, we produce them with an automated fiber machine, placement machine, the Coriolis, and C1.1. And this machine allows to decrease the scrap rate. And for example, for this foil, we need 150% of material to produce 300 kilo, which is 450 kilogram to produce 300 kilo for a foil. And it used to be more or less 600 kilogram. So this is what, I mean, we are not as good as Kairos, where Kairos used biomaterials. We are not at this step because of the mechanical characteristic of the fiber. We still need to use, in this foil, we use intermediate modulus for carbon, which is not as good as a biocomposite, but at least using automated fiber placement machine, we reduce the scrap rate. And for example, we have made the well, in French ACV, which the CO2 consumption for a foil, and we have for a foil which were used to be manufactured manually, we had something like 90 tons of carbon for one set of 2 foil, and using automated fiber placement machine and using the fiber that is produced in France, it's very important to know where the fiber comes from. We are down to 40 tons of carbon for a set of foil. It's still a lot. It's not, but it's a decrease by more than 2 times what is usually done. So that's why we can say it's sustainable in a way that it decreases what is the habit of the sector. So this is one example. The next example is we are part of a consortium with 5 other companies based in South Britanny, and this is why we spoke of Composite Valley, because it's to show to the composite world that there is a know-how of manufacturing composite parts in Lorient. It's well known for Toulouse, Bordeaux, or any other place linked to aviation, but it has a real know-how of manufacturing composite parts in south of Brittany. And there is a new sector coming on, which is building mast. The mast you can see here, you can walk inside. It's a 70 meters long mast, 70 meters. For example, if you look at the boats that sail around the world, the masts are more like 30, 35 meters for multi-hull, for the bug multi-hull. This one is 70 meters. I don't know if you imagine, it's far above this building, and it's higher than not the Tour Eiffel, of course, but l'Arc de Triomphe. It's higher than the Arc de Triomphe, and so this mast is approximately 20 tons of carbon. 20 tons. It's more than each company could produce. This is why we gathered to produce this mast. So we've made this mast of 20 tons of carbon. And the good thing now, the good news is that we use out of autoclave carbon. This is how, as well, we reduce the impact on the environment, because it's the first time we have cooked up to 3 tons of carbon out of autoclave. So we've made, and the results are very good in terms of mechanical characteristic. So the next generation of mast, the first one was cooked in 3 parts using an autoclave at CDK's based, where they have a 24 meters long oven. So the first one was divided in 3 parts of 20 meters, but the next one will be built in first a piece of 40 meters assembled with another one of 20, so which makes approximately 60 meters, and they will be cooked out of autoclave. So which is a performance. And the next step is that we built a new factory dedicated to maritime transportation. So the good news is that we come back to the old times where we were shipping goods across the Atlantic Ocean using boats. That's a real. We can say it's we are in the future, but we are in the past as well. But the comparison is that there is only one guy to put the sails up and put the sails down, which was not the case usually, where you needed I don't know how many, but maybe 30 people to raise the different sails. Today, with one guy, you raise a composite sails up to 70 meters high. It's more than 1,000 square meters of sails, the 1,000 square meters of sails, which allows. So it was the idea of the Chantier de l'Atlantique. Chantier de l'Atlantique, it's one of the 3 biggest shipyard in the world to produce vessels for people to have fun around the world. And instead of having a vessel that goes across the Atlantic Ocean using their motor, using this 3 masts on a 200 ship long, 3 masts of 70 meters, sorry, not 70, 70 meters high mast, and you have 3 masts, which means 3,000 square meters of sails on a ship of 200 meters long. I don't know if you can see what it represents, allowing this power using the wind. Then we have the opportunity to reduce by 40% the use of diesel, of gasoil, or whatsoever.
And does the ship has a full autonomy, or is it coupled with also another energy?
It's coupled because, as I said, it's a decrease of 40% because it's not it does not replace by 100% the energy of the motor. So I speak only about the propulsion. So it decreased by 40%, so, which is a big step, because the idea now is to go to put this solution to usual containers transports on vessels, on ships, to reduce as well the carbon footage. And we have to acknowledge that thanks to the regulation on transportation at sea, it's because there is an international regulation that has demand the company to decrease by 20% their carbon footprint, that there is this new regulation that has pushed to this solution of getting sales up back to the ships. So there is a completely new market opening up. We'll see more boats with mast on the boats to transport goods, which is good news, because it's a good way to decrease the carbon footprint for the transportation. And it's in Lorient, who would know, it's in south of Britanny, and there's a new company building up today where the goal is to build 10 masts per year, 10 masts of 20 tons of carbon per year, because on the big vessels, there are up to 3 masts per vessel. So and we have orders now. It's not only a project; it does exist, and we have vessels to deliver their mast in the coming 2 years or 2-3 years. We have up to 10 masts to deliver in the next 3 years.
Okay, that's great. So everything also being produced, built, assembled in Bretagne or other areas in France. Everything in Bretagne.
Yes, in Lorient.
In Lorient, everything in Lorient.
Okay. And and we have Multiplast, which is based close by in Vannes, and then it's a regional consortium with Les Chantiers de l'Atlantique, which this company is based in Saint-Nazaire, close to Nantes, and the mast is sent back to Les Chantiers de l'Atlantique in Nantes, where it's put on the vessel.
Okay, I guess you already built the first prototype. Do you have maybe a picture of the prototype with the mast on?
Not yet. We are focused on the mast because it was quite an issue. Yes, this is the prototype. Sorry, I should have shown it before. And you see there are the three masts 70 meter high. And this boat is under construction, so it's not a 3D image. This is a 3D image, of course, but the ship is being built at the moment, and you will see it in a year and a half. So that will be exactly the picture we can see here. And the advantage to go in the harbor, the mast turn 360 degrees, because when you enter the harbor, you must follow the path and you cannot go everywhere. So you have the sail to be upwind to allow the sails to go down. So the 3 masts, they can turn around according to the wind.
So there's still innovation. It's not just a circularity of an innovation 300 years ago, but it's different materials from wood to carbon, and also more technology to make it more adaptive with our modern standards of shipbuilding, right? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So I think we still have a little bit of time. We plan also maybe a 10-minute question and discussion. If the public wants to ask also their questions with the companies, it's also the moment. I think we can also focus a little bit more on why. I understand that both companies were already based in Bretagne when they were making so you sort of pure products of the Bretagne ecosystem, but maybe in terms of attractiveness, can you and then I let the region discuss that, but can you also explain us what is the interest, what is the attractiveness, what is the innovation that kind of attract you to stay in Bretagne, and that could attract also actors, whether they're from France or somewhere else, to also settle in Bretagne, maybe not only for the maritime ecosystem, but for the entire composite ecosystem in all various sectors. So what is attracting you in Bretagne, basically?
First of all, it's our innovation capacities. As we said, we have universities and technical centers specialized in composite industrial capacities. Secondly, with all the SMEs and companies that are working in composite ecosystems, there are a lot of competencies. So there are training, special training for operators and technicians, and foreign companies that could settle in Britanny to experiment and to build new industrial processes will find the competencies to address their needs. So I think it's the two principal points to be attractive for foreign companies.
Yes, Luc?
Yes, I think because we are based by the sea and there are many sailors around the coast of Brittany, I think people are very sensitive to reduce the carbon impact because we are close by the sea and we do see the differences and the effect of the climate change. So people are very sensitive to do something to change the way we behave, the way we produce parts. As I said, so we are thinking, innovative because we see the goal we see the fine goal to decrease our impact on the planet.
Yeah, and also to complete, there are very big, large, interesting knowledge in Lorient, in Brest, around material at the University of Lorient, and also in Brest with Ifremer, who has a very strong knowledge on how materials behave in the marine environment.
And I guess also in terms of feedstock, Bretagne is an important agricultural region, so perhaps everyone, I think that's interesting also because you can find out the materials that you want. Yeah. You're working with flax, maybe wheat. Is it also from Bretagne? Is it like a sort of local feedstock?
Well, since Colbert, there are no more flax growing in Britanny, but it's coming back since a few years. And Britanny is very much involved in trying to reintroduce flax growing in the region, and hemp as well. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And maybe Arnaud, the first Arnaud, regarding the entire Bretagne ecosystem, and we've mentioned the maritime industry, I guess there are plenty of other powerful composite industries within the sectors. Can you also detail a little bit more the other industry, maybe the other impactful actors that are working in Bretagne in the composite industries, and how it is also an attractive region for all composite sectors?
Yes, in fact, maritime industry is.
Maybe you want to go back more.
No,
it's good. Okay.
It's the main market for this company. I would like just to add that there is also a concentration of talent and innovation companies. As I said, they have also the capacity to work together, as we saw in Solid Set project, when Chantier de l'Atlantique looking for a company able to build this mast. They find the capacity of this SME to work together. But even if they compete on the other market, they are able to work together. I think it's a specialty of the region to be able to work together.
Partnerships, yes.
Yeah, it's a ship mean. And the other market, we have a smaller automotive industry, but they are working on at Rennes on a factory for Safran and Peugeot, Citroën, who are able to welcome some projects like FIV at Rennes to work on the automotive industry.
As well. Okay, so a lot of different industrial sectors.
Yeah,
it's so Bretagne is not just only, as I mentioned before, the beaches and the agriculture, but it's also an industrial region with with a nice industrial tissue within the region, and that's also looking for more
Yeah,
cooperation and partnership within the industries. Well, thank you very much for your presence here and your introductions. Thank you everyone, to all the participants in the room for coming here today. Don't leave right now, because we will be able to follow up all the discussions in the meeting space just next door on the left when you exit the stage. And all the participants will stay here, I think, for a few minutes or so if you want to discuss with them, ask questions, exchange cards. There will be also an entire networking session just after that. And we'll meet in a few minutes after the end of the roundtable on the meeting space just on the left. So, yeah. And,
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the participants in the room, and see you around, and have a wonderful JEC event.